This is the best video I have ever made. I'm about to interview Tony Antonelli, a NASA astronaut that has been to space twice. He has literally lived, worked, and played in the International Space Station, and I am about to have a conversation with him. So this is incredible. Yeah, I'm gonna ask him everything I've wanted to know since I was 8 years old. Like, what it actually feels like to launch on a rocket, to live in the International Space Station, and to feel microgravity. And finally, what does space food really taste like? Big shout out to Mars Society UK, the UK chapter of Mars Society, which is a volunteer-led organisation very close to my heart because, well, I'm the Chief of Staff for Mars Society, and they have organised this interview with Tony Antonelli. So make sure to check out their website below in the description box, and yeah, become a member because they have some really cool projects from research and development to analog astronaut conferences. So yeah, check them out. So now I'm gonna go to a little town in Oxford called Aylesbury, where Tony Antonelli is currently touring some schools and speaking all about his missions to space. But I am gonna have a one-on-one conversation all about his missions and what it really feels like to live in space and be an astronaut. So I'm here with Tony, who is a NASA astronaut. And before I get into some of the questions, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and your travels to space and how long you were there?
Sure. So I'm Tony. Let's see a little about me. I got a degree in engineering, a couple, one from MIT and one from University of Washington. Flew airplanes for the Navy for a little bit, and then worked for NASA and got to fly 2 space shuttle missions. Each were a little less than 2 weeks.
So first question is, what inspired your career in space?
So I showed earlier the Apollo 8 Earthrise picture. That was kind of it. The idea that Earth looks like a blue marble against the black backdrop of space, and the idea that there's cool places to travel and explore and see, and we have so much to learn. But it was really the Earthrise picture.
What surprised you the most during the astronaut selection process?
We do it a little different today than when I did it. When I applied, we only came to Houston for one trip for a week-long interview. The interview, like a job interview part's just 1 hour, but you're there for the whole week. The rest of the week is basically a thorough medical exam.
Yeah, this is very intense. This is the one you were telling us about.
You get what feels like every medical test they can think of.
What's the most intrusive thing that they do? Actually, maybe you shouldn't answer that question.
Exactly. What's the most intrusive thing you can imagine? And
they
do at least that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's more thorough than the ones in the military.
Oh, significantly more so. When I first heard this, I thought it was urban legend, but I believe somebody came to Houston selection interview and discovered that then and there that they had one kidney. And have you seen yours? If you haven't seen him, you don't really know. It lived his whole life not knowing. Until you see him, you don't really know.
We have to make sure that we check our kidneys before applying to become an astronaut. What qualities do you believe are essential for a successful astronaut?
It's the most important things, the most important skills and traits are the things you learn in kindergarten, or what they call reception class here, right? If I got it right. Yeah. It's get your work done, it's clean up after yourself, it's put everything back where it goes when you're done using it, and most importantly, be a good teammate, be nice to others.
Could you explain what it felt like to launch on a rocket?
It's not easy to explain. I've only flew on space shuttles. I've watched the video many times. It looks like the space shuttle gracefully lifts up off the launch pad, clears the tower, rolls over. You go to space most of the way upside down. But there's this incredible sense of power when the solid's light that you don't get in the sim and you don't get by watching it. The space shuttle leaps off the launch pad. When the space shuttle clears the launch tower, She's already going 80 miles an hour and still accelerating. So next time you watch one go 0 to 80, it's amazing. Like the first time you do it, I didn't expect it to be that powerful, right? I'd watched the videos before, so I knew we were getting ready, and I just expected it to feel like this graceful climbing up off the launch pad and clearing the tower, but we leapt off the launch pad, and that was pretty surprising.
How would you describe the sensation of microgravity, and how long did it take you to get used to it?
Yeah, so everyone's different. Everybody takes a different amount of time. We don't have a way to predict who's going to get motion sick and who's not. It's not the same people that get seasick or car sick, so you don't know. NASA's got pretty good motion sickness medicine. I think most people are over it after 2 days, and I think everybody's over it after 3. Once you're over that, being able to float and fly is like ridiculously fun. It's such a drag to live on Earth and have to walk places. When on orbit with just a fingertip, you can touch something and float across the room.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's gravity's a drag. Everybody's taller on orbit. Some folks find that painful. Some folks have a tough time sleeping because they feel like they're stretched out.
What is your favorite thing that you've ever eaten in space, and what is your least favorite?
Everything's color coded when you're on the shuttle, because there's a lot of stuff and a lot of people, and you keep track of stuff. So all your clothes, all your books, all your food. Space shuttle pilots colors yellow.
Okay.
So all my stuff has a little yellow tag or yellow sticker on it. And so by far my favorite food is any food in the oven that somebody's not looking after that doesn't have a yellow tag, right? It's like somebody else's food when you're hungry is like even better.
So it's the same in space as it is on Earth. You really have to label your food, otherwise it's
exactly. And if you've got any brothers or sisters, when they're not looking, taste their food, I'm going to tell you it's going to be way better. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's always better. I was always really hungry, so I liked almost everything. There was one item, and as the pilot, I was responsible for the trash. And there's not a lot of volume for the trash, so I got to scrunch everything up. So the rule is, if you open something, you have to finish it. Because I have room for all the wrappers, but you can't leave food. I don't have room for the food and the wrappers. And everybody was really good about this. I opened one food item that was teriyaki beef. And I didn't even try it on Earth because I knew I would like it, right? I opened it up. I had a little tiny pocket knife instead of the large scissors that NASA had, and I kept that in my pocket. But the teriyaki sauce was fine. I ate almost everything with a spoon, so I took a spoonful of this beef teriyaki, and it was horrible. I don't know. It felt like it needed space technology to make food this bad.
How did it feel to see Earth from the vantage point of space?
The Earth is so beautiful. Day or night, good weather and bad. Time at the window looking down at Earth is so captivating.
What was the experience like when you returned to Earth after living in space?
My stomach was fine. I didn't feel motion sick at all. I felt the tiniest bit lightheaded for about an hour. We're walking around like we do a walk around of our space shuttle once we're on the runway. I was comfortable walking around. I was a lot more comfortable being close enough to something to put my hand on, right? I think it's that same feeling you get occasionally when you're laying down and you stand up really fast. It takes your heart a second to find the right pressure to keep the right amount of blood in your head. I had that feeling. Before that, on re-entry, I remember I had a cue card. We'd done the deorbit burn over Australia. We're on our way to Florida. It takes us about an hour. And G is really slowly building up, so it's not a really dynamic phase of flight. It's all just kind of slow. It gets exciting and dynamic as you get close to the ground, but before that's pretty slow. I remember letting go of my cue card, and it fell straight down, slowly but straight down, and I hadn't dropped anything in a week and a half, so I thought that was amazing. I picked it up and watched it fall straight down, and I remember thinking, how does it know where to go? And now when I see a kid hold out their toy or whatever from their stroller and drop it, and then, of course, somebody, big brother or sister or mom or maybe even me, picks it up and gives it back to them, and they hold it out again and drop it. I feel like I know exactly what that feels like.
What do you think would be the specific skills that would be crucial for the first crew to Mars?
An actual medical doctor / surgeon, right? If we're on a long trip and you need surgery, I'd love to give it a try, but there's probably somebody that's better at it than me, right? But you definitely choose decent humans.
Definitely.
So that's got to be number one.
What advice would you give to a young individual who dreams of becoming an astronaut? And it might be me, but it might be Patrick as well.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's a lot of lifelong learners. It's the do your best every single day, especially if you're still in school. I'm careful to mention that the things that I don't say that I worry people hear when I say that. I didn't say be the best, right? One person's going to be the best, but that's not the important piece. It's do your very best. There's very likely going to be challenges and stumbles along the way. But if it really is your passion, then you just got to persevere, put in the hard work, and know to ask for help. Does anybody know the phrase pineapple, pineapple, pineapple? Have y'all heard that? No? Okay, it's silly. It was on a silly TV show, but there was a character. They said, hey, what do I say for my safe word if I get scared? And he's like, say pineapple. And then the guy gets scared and he goes, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. And Ronnie Guerin went out on his first spacewalk and said, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an incredible opportunity, and I would love, love, love for you to share this with your family and friends. And if there is a question that you have always wanted to know about space and would like to ask an astronaut, drop a comment below with that question. I'm going to pick the best question in the next few weeks and actually ask Tony directly to find out the answer. And I'll be sure to post it in my upcoming videos. So make sure to do that. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to stay safe, and hopefully one day I will see you in space.